been got onto at school for making paper airplanes fly?
Oh, yeah.
No spitballs tonight. Okay. Just paper airplanes. Okay. I'm gonna give you a sheet of paper. And I want you to make a paper airplane. And then we're gonna have a countdown. We're gonna turn towards the back of the church. And we're gonna aim at Pam back there. And we're gonna see, we're gonna sail our airplane towards the back of the church. Okay? Don't look. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I could give Pam one, she can say it back to us, I guess. Pam, here's you one too. Here's you one right there. All right. Make a paper airplane. I bet y'all have never been told to make a paper airplane in church before that. Oh. We used to make them in a couple different styles, you know. And I like to make a jet. I make a jet. I like fast ones. But make any kind of airplane that you want to make. It's fine. We used to make a fun one. We used to put weights in front of them, all that, just anything to make it do like what we wanted it to do. But still, somehow or another, just really didn't know to do this exactly right.
Larry's gonna pick them all up after church.
He'll pick them up, don't run after them. We'll get them up. What is your airplane? Let me see what your airplane is looking like. Has everybody got one built now? Yeah. See here? Okay. Oh, see this airplane right here? Good. It's flying right along. Sail right along as long as I'm holding it in my hand. I don't want you to stand up or turn around, come back to the church, and when I say 3, I want you to sail your airplane toward the back of the church, okay? Everybody get ready. Pam's going to go towards the front. We're going to go towards the back. And let's just see it. Mine may fall right at my feet. Like my luck. Take the time, we're not in a hurry, it's not even dark yet, you know. It's not. All right. Is everybody ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
I'm back there with the beans at, and Judy's going to get them.
Oh, yours.
That's yours.
Got it. My nose was yours too.
You don't have to pick them up, we're good. What happened to the airplane when you threw it?
Fell down.
Why did it fall?
Where is yours?
I threw mine to the back. Mine went way back there. Why did your airplane fall?
I just know it didn't get started.
You know your airplane fell. Pam, turn off them effects back there on this channel, so I won't be talking twice. It sounds good when you're singing, but not when you talk. The airplane fell, because it left out of your hand. See, you could get that airplane. I intended to keep mine. I didn't. You can get that airplane and you can go all the way in the back of church, go all the way in the back room, and you can turn around and come back up here like that, and it's fine. You know, it's just flying right along. But as soon as you launch that thing, it falls. See, that's what God did in the Garden of Eden. Because He didn't want to walk around and have a bunch of puppets doing, you know, as long as that airplane's in your hand, you going around. He didn't want a bunch of puppets that did what He told them to do just because they had to do it, see. So to give you that free will, then God kind of launched you like He did that airplane. So He did that in the Garden of Eden, and what happened? Man failed it. This is Easter week that we're starting into. But you know, Jesus came and He picked us back up again. And see, and so long as we let Him have control, then we're going to be okay. So the question tonight is, who's in control in your life? You know, and I realize that I'll hear Christian folks and we say, well, God's in control, but so many times, you know, we go off on a little tangent where we want control for a little while. We always mess up. Then He has to pick us up and He has to dust us off again and set us back on the right way. Proverbs 37 and 23 said, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delighteth in his way. Here's a good, really a real good part. I forgot to let Gene get the papers out before I got started. So God, give you a minute. We'll start over again while you got your paper. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delighteth in his way. Here's the good part. Though he fall, you know, when we launch some planes, they fail. He shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with His hand. He reached down there. When we was down here, that, you know, that airplane that we made tonight was totally helpless once it left out of our hand. You know what? When we can realize that we're totally helpless, so long when we take ourselves out of God's hand, if we could just realize that we're just helpless. But even if we falter, if we stumble, if we fall, then He upholds us with His hand. Let's see what Mr. Barnes has to say about that verse. That word ordered means established. In other words, God, the Lord, establishes the way of a good man. It means establish. Ordered means to stand erect, to set up, to adjust, to fit, to direct. The idea here is that all which pertains to the journey of a good man through life is directed, ordered, fitted, and arranged by the Lord. Now, I heard a person say one time, when I wake up in the morning, I lay there and I say, okay, Lord, is it all right if I get one foot out from under the cover? And they went through this big rigmarole that they went through every morning to find out if it's okay with the Lord for them to get out of bed. Guess what? When you wake up in the morning, it's all right to get up. You know, that's the reason the Lord woke you up. You know, where you'll get up. Now, the translators here has inserted a word that was not in the original text, and that word is good. The steps of a good man. And of course, it would have to be a good man for him to let the Lord order his steps. You know, you wonder why that you start out to do something, to go somewhere, and you forget something other, and you have to go back. That's guys, you know. Sometimes our wife leaves her pocketbook at home. You got to turn around and go back and get it. And I always feel like when something happens, that I got to turn around and go back. I'm on pins and needles till I get back to that place where I left from, and then I start on forward. You know, I'm all right then. But you know, how do I know that down that road, if I would have been at if I would have kept going, I would have been at a place when there would have been another car there at the same time that we might have had it. I don't know. And I'm not here to tell you today that every time that your wife forgets her pocketbook at home, it's the Lord causing you not to be at a certain place. I'm not saying that, but it could be. But the idea here is to let the Lord be in control. Let Him call the shots. No, we like to quote a verse in Romans chapter number 8 and verse number 28. That all, you know. But we don't go on and read verse 29. We like what the Lord's going to do for us. But see, if you go down to the next verse, we find out that it's God's will that we be conformed to the image of His Son. That's part of that control. You know. And Jesus said, if any man would come after me, let him take up his cross and follow after me. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about the cross that they had to bear. Oh, this was wrong, and that was wrong, that was just my cross that I had to bear. But that's not even what Jesus was talking about. Jesus was talking about crucifying this old fleshly, all this fleshly lust and all in this body, and letting Him have control. Because you see, He said, let Him take up His cross. In that day, if you was going to be crucified, you had to take the cross piece that they was going to nail up there, you had to tote it to where the crucifixion was going to take place. It wasn't bad enough that they was going to hang you on the cross, but you had to tote your own cross. But Jesus said, no, unless we take off our cross, we're not going to be able to follow. Unless we get the old man. You know, I remember as a kid, my mother did a lot of we had Bible schools back then, and she had this stories line about Ipsy and Newman. Newman was the new man, and Ipsy was the old man. You know, and so long as Ipsy was kept down here. And by the way, you know, we will never be completely rid of the tempter until Jesus comes back again. We've got to keep that old man crucified, that old man dead, and let God order our steps. Let's read some more about the steps. In John 14 and 16 and 17, for now thou numberest my steps, does thou not watch over my sin? My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and thou sewest up mine iniquity. You know, the Lord takes care of our past when we come to Him. Now, under the old covenant, every year, and ever so often, they had to do all these different sacrifices they had to bring, and they had to bring a sin offering. And the blood that they shed of that sacrifice covered, and I want you to pay real close attention to this now, it covered you for another year. then you could go, and next year you could bring another lamb, and that blood would cover you for another year. But when Jesus, the perfect sacrifice, the perfect lamb, died, his blood washes away our sins. I use an illustration about the lady that she had a beautiful carpet in her living room, and something got spilled on it, and she didn't get it out, you know, and she just put an end table over the thing, and nobody couldn't see it. Nobody knew it was there, but it was still there. It was covered up. And all she had to do was call Eugene and let him come down and get it out. That's her daddy. He's in the carpet cleaning business. You see, that's what the blood of Jesus does. It cleanses us. It takes it away. It takes away the sin of the world. It's not there no more. It won't never be remembered against you anymore. Psalms 40 and verse 2 says, He brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my goings. That's what He'll do for you if you let Him be the one that's in control. Proverbs 16 and 9, A man's heart devises his way, but the Lord directs his steps. What the Lord wants to do. He wants to direct your steps. Now, like that airplane that we launched, and it just went out there for a little ways, you know, and sometimes you make these airplanes and you sail them out there, and they go for a long way out there before they come in. And you can buy these little glider, balsa wood airplanes, you know, and you can throw them, they go a long way, but they're coming down because they have nothing to hold them up. Now, I want the Lord to hold me up. I want Him to direct my way. I want Him to let me up. See, and there is a benefit even in this life of letting God have control. I heard a preacher that not very long ago said, if you're serving God for any reason besides that He's worthy, He's King of Kings, He's Lord of Lords, and He deserves our worship. If you're doing it for any other reason, it's not right. One time Jesus had a crowd following Him, and a day or two before then he had fed 5,000 with the loaves and the fishes. He said, I know what you want. You want some more fish and bread. You want to see another miracle. That's the reason you follow me. You're not following me because you love me. You're not following me because that you want to learn from me. You see, there's different ways of following. No, you can follow after somebody to learn from them. You can just follow after somebody, you know, just follow after them because you don't know the way yourself or something like that. But you're not trying to learn. You're just trying to get there, you know. And I'm afraid some people is trying to follow after the Lord just so they don't go to heaven. They want to get to heaven, you know. They want the good stuff. But they don't want to pay the cost. They want to just follow along, you know. You know, Jesus a lot of times got on to His disciples because they wasn't really learning what He was trying to teach them. He said, at one point they said, show us the Father. He said, have I been with you this long and you haven't seen the Father? Has anybody seen Jesus in your life? You know, when things didn't go right, did the love of God come through? Now, I worked on a construction job for many years, and I've heard lots of foul language when somebody hit their finger with a hammer. And I just have to tell you this, I've hit my finger with a hammer a lot of times, but I have never ever thought to say them kind of words. You know, and just foreign to him. And somebody said, oh, you know, it just slipped out. Well, let me tell you something. If you fill up a bucket of water and you walking down the road with it and you drop that bucket and that water and it spills out, what's coming out? Water. Because that's what's in there. When adversity comes your way, what's going to come out is what's in here, you know. Let Him have control. Let the right thing be in there. Let Him direct your steps. And when we let Him direct our steps, you know what? He's like, He wants to be our shepherd. Now, a shepherd is not just somebody that takes the sheep from one pasture to another or makes sure that they got something other to eat, but He is their sole provider. You know, and Jesus said even the good shepherd would lay down his life for the sheep. See, in those days, they would be out in the away from everywhere else a lot of times, and they'd be spending the night with the sheep, and they would actually crowd them up and lay down in front of the sheep so nothing could get to them without going over that shepherd. Jesus was there. I mean, the shepherd was their provider. Jesus was to be our provider. Let's look at Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You know, that's enough right there to serve Him for. But that's not the reason that we serve Him. The reason we serve Him because He is Lord. He deserves it. But this is just some of the benefits or the results of giving God control. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, not none of them old dirt, down on dried up weeds and stuff like that, but nice green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for Thou art with me. Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. You see, you notice here what he referred to, a rod and a staff. See, it's according to how you used it. See, a rod was to keep the sheep going in the right direction. But you know, he could take that staff and a little sheep gets lost, falls in a deep ravine somewhere, and he can take that hook on that thing and he can reach down there. He can gently get that sheep out of it. See, he wants to be our provider. He wants to be our protector. But also, you know, the scripture tells me that He chastens those that He loves. Yea, though I walk through the valley of death, of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for Thou art with me. Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runs over. You know what? You may not be nobody in this world that thinks a lot of you, but the Lord thinks so much of you that He'll let you eat the good of the land. He prepares a table before us. And there He anointed our head with oil, and our cup runs over. I'm reminded of the song that Michael Cohen sings. I'm drinking from my saucer because my cup is already overflowed. I like that song. I don't like a whole lot of his singing. I tell you, I have to be honest with you, but I like that one. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Goodness and mercy. God's good to us, isn't He? He lets the good things come our way, but you know what? He's also merciful. He don't just kick us out when we do wrong, but He reaches down there and He picks us up. Just like the shepherd picks that sheep up out of the thing, or just like we would go pick up one of them paper airplanes after we've thrown it. He'd pick it all up, and he makes everything all right. Can you remember when you was a kid? And you would scrape your knee or your elbow or something like that, and you go to mama or you go to daddy, and they'd brush it off, they'd clean it up and patch it up a little bit, and they would make everything all right. I can remember sometimes I thought that I had this really big problem, and I didn't know what in the world I was going to do. But all I had to do was go see mother or go see daddy, and they'd figure it all out, you know, and make it all right. You know, that's what Jesus wants. You know, let's let him keep us in his hand. Let us, you know, he wants to bear us up, lest we dash our foot against him. He wants to totally protect you. Now, he will let you go through some things to see if you're going to trust him. He'll do that. But let's let him have control. Let him do the work in our lives. And then guess what? We're not going to crash. We're not going to sail out there for a little ways like that paper airplane and then take a nosedive. But we're going to sail right on into the portals of heaven. You know, one guy said, talking about airplane rides, he said, one of these days I'm going to take a plain air ride. I'm just going to just go out of here. You know, when Jesus left here, he left here on the cloud, didn't he? Just floating right up there. I don't know exactly if we're going to be streaking or if we're just going to be floating up or however, but I want to go. And I want to be like the lady was. I want to go on the first load because the second load may be too late. God bless you. Have him. Let him have control. I wonder if you would just stand with me. If you feel like standing, if you can't stand, then that's perfectly all right. But let's lift up our voices to the Lord and let's renew that control. Let's renew that control that he has over. Let's give him that control. Lord, we thank you. Because you will direct our steps if we will let you. Lord, and we come to you today one more time, Lord, renewing our walk with you, and we ask you to guide us and direct us. Lord, don't sail us out there and let us fall, but keep us in your hand, Lord. And when we would try to get out there and go on our own, Lord, hold on just a little bit tighter. Deal with us a little bit more, Lord, and help us to stay humble before the Lord. Let you have your way in our hearts and our lives. Lord, and we'll thank you, praise you for everything that you do for us. May we leave this place tonight, and when we get to our different places that we go this week, may the people that we come in contact with know without a shadow of a doubt that you're in control.